What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hardworking Happy Hour. I'm Sean.
And I'm Catherine, and as always, we'll be breaking down all things trades, entrepreneurship, and turning your creativity into a passion career. Good afternoon, Sean Collinsgrove.
What's happening? How you doing? What's going on? How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
I haven't seen you in a while. It's been almost an hour. Almost an hour.
I bet a lot has happened in that hour.
Oh, certainly. Oh my God, so much. We don't even have time to catch up. We don't even have time. How was your week?
Pretty good. Coming back from Deck Expo, the guys got a lot done, so it was cool to see how much work had gotten done. It was a brand new week. I can't remember anything else that happened.
There's been a lot that has happened. Everything's going great. Yeah, we already talked about the fact that we were at Deck Expo last week. We talked about that last week.
Right.
So no need to rehash that, but we've got a lot going on. We've got a job that is progressing super quickly. Everything is going so smooth. We are enhancing our media output on the podcast, which we'll get into in a little bit. And just a whole lot of exciting stuff going on. Tomorrow, I'm going away for the weekend to the Catskill Mountains of New York, which is going to be beautiful. You're always saying you need to go on vacation. I'm going on vacation.
This is like a long weekend. It doesn't really count as like a vacation, but I do applaud you stepping away from work. I think it's going to be great.
Thank you so much.
Like on Friday, there's a potential we might have a rain day. So.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't. So it looks like I'm not even going to miss anything, but it's actually potentially going to snow in New York. So
yeah, we might also get snow.
That?
We might also get snow, but I'm sure it would be much worse where you're at.
Yeah, it says potential snow in New Jersey?
Yeah. That's what the news people said today.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, glad I won't be here for that. I mean, I might still be getting it anyway. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, we got a lot going on. We got a lot to get to, and I thought we would just kick it off with a new segment, which will turn into some news that we have. I guess news that we have going on. It'll clue you into what we have going on. Plus, it will spur the conversation that it spurs and some tips that I'm working on personally. So without any further ado, let's get into the fight of the week.
I think this will be a new segment potentially. Maybe it won't even have to be. But Sean and I, we tend to bicker a good bit. We've only gotten into like maybe 2 real fights where we hated each other's guts for a little bit. But occasionally we are known to bicker. We bicker a good bit at work. And it made me think, while we might not have the most healthy communication style, we do have a communication style, which usually leads to these things being resolved. So if anyone else heard us bickering, they might be like, wow.
This is toxic. Yeah, this is no good.
Here. However, it usually does lead to improved working conditions, and we usually get over it pretty quickly. So,
absolutely.
This week, let the people know what our fight was about this week.
Okay. Well, I mean, before we get into that, it's just funny to mention that I didn't really think about our communication style too much until we were at Deck Expo and people were kind of commenting on, what our roles are and how we complement each other at in our working styles and everything. And I found myself saying quite a bit to a lot of different people, like, yeah, I'll come up with an idea and she'll be like, shut up, you dumb idiot. You suck. That's not. And I was saying such a good positive way. Like, and then I saw like a couple stares like, that doesn't seem normal. But it works. It works for us. It works for us at Premier Outdoor Living, at least between me and you, because a lot of times I need that solid dose of honest input.
Yeah.
And you
And
do
I
not
do wanna-
hold back on that.
Yes, I do not hold back. I am very opinionated, and maybe that's something I need to work on. But also, Anthony is known to not tread lightly when sharing his opinion as well. So I feel like it's kind of, while it's like it's definitely you and I, it is also, I think, our team.
It's a culture I've created. This is sounding terrible. Well,
no, I think it's like. Yes, when you say it that way, I feel like it does sound a little bit bad, but I ultimately think that it's good. I think it's great that I have a safe work environment where I can share my opinion. And if I am saying, if I'm like calling you like a little bitch or whatever, I'm always joking when I do it. I'm not like, like I'm not like a high school bully. I'm just pretending to be one.
Typical of what a high school bully would say. All right, so this week
keep going.
we get into quite an argument. When was this? Was this Monday? Or no, I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday.
I think it was yesterday. And so with the podcast, what we really want to do and expand on it is create a lot more content out of it. It's something that we've been a little bit inconsistent with as far as video clips, because it does take a lot of time. Catherine has done a ton of them up to this point. She does the weekly audio version of this. She does the weekly YouTube version of this, gets it uploaded, but there's just a lot that needs to go into it to do it as best as we want to present it. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of work across the board. And I said yesterday, I'm going to take all the clips off of your plate. We try to do 5 clips a week, ideally, of the podcast, different, parts of segments, and we chop it up and we do short format videos of it. And I was like, I will take that off of your plate. I will handle it. And that's what led to I don't want to say a huge fight, because we were kind of yelling at each other a little bit, but in a constructive way, because you were like, you were obviously getting so pissed off because you're like, whatever, like, okay, yeah, go for it. Like, I know that you don't have the time for it, but if you want to just like say, okay, go ahead, make the clips. And if that'll make you happy for this week, I'm sure you'll do a great job on these 5 clips, but then we need to find a real solution. Like, this isn't a real solution. This is just a Band-Aid for this week because you feel like you want to make 5 clips and have everyone say, good job, Sean, you can do it. And so that's kind of how it started. And you were making some good points. And then I started yelling back at you. And I was saying things like, I'm getting so pissed off, but that is also balanced because I know everything you're saying is very valid. Because these were all very good points. And when we get into arguments like this, even if initially it's hard for me to see your point, I will start to say things that I realize I've said before. I realize there's a moment of deja vu, like, wait, this feels familiar. We've been in this situation before.
Yeah.
But ultimately, your side of it was, I know that you can make 5 clips. I know that you can sit down today and make 5 clips out of this podcast, and I'm sure they'll be great. But on a week-to-week basis, ongoing, this is not something that you have time for, and we should just find a permanent solution to outsource it. And I respected that. That point of view. But I also hold steadfast in my thinking that I should not let past limitations hamper my future success. Right?
I think that is a great quality that you have, that you are the eternal optimist, and you always you want everything to work out. And I think that is great, and that is a wonderful quality to have. However, I'm just a bit more realistic. And like yesterday, you didn't have a lot to do, so you were like, I'm going to make these 5 clips. And I was like, making the clips is not actually what takes the longest. It's a huge I don't even realize.
Yeah, forgot about that.
Everything about like downloading things when we don't really have that good of internet. Like every little piece just adds up to a huge chunk of time. And the actual making of the clips isn't really saving me that much time. It is. It saves me a little bit of time, but not like a huge monumental, like it's not like taking this massive thing off of my plate. So that was my point. And then you just kept arguing with me. And then you kept telling me that all of my points were really good and that I was making a lot of sense, but you still wanted to do it your way, which was really funny. And and you did make 5 really good clips, and you did get them scheduled. Much. So kudos to you for that. I will give you the kudos there. But I think that this is a balance between coworkers that I feel like a lot of people can kind of relate to, because you are like an eternal optimist. You're like, okay, like we need to shake something up. Let's do this. And I'm the one that's like, okay, like I'm the Debbie Downer. I'm like, okay, well, you know, we've tried this in the past and it hasn't worked out. And I think that maybe we need to look for not a Band-Aid, but a permanent solution. So while you have this time, instead of making these clips, let's work on finding a permanent solution. So those are all of my points, but I feel like I think it's a balance, because I was being the Debbie Downer, being like, this isn't going to work. Let's figure out something else. And you were the one like, no, let's try it. Let's just try it. Let's try it this way.
I just said, can we please have a fresh start where we forget about all the other times that I've said that I can do something and didn't have time for it. And we'll just see how this time it works out. I've never asked for a fresh start before. I am capable of change, and I think that I can do it. And I just need to be more judicious with my time management.
Yeah, so in the end, you won. We're trying it out your way. You're doing it. So week 1.
I mean, I'm kind of the boss. I can just ignore everybody and do whatever I want. But
that's true.
Then eventually everyone's just going to leave me, and then then I'll just be all by myself, and then I'll be able to do whatever I want. I won't be able to do all of it, but I'll be able to do whatever I want. I won't have anybody there to say good job, but
yeah.
So I think it does highlight the importance of communication, especially among people in your business that you need to have opinions.
Yeah.
Like you can't, I mean, maybe there are some businesses that like just need an opinion from the top, and it's like, this is the way we're going to do it, and my way or the highway. Maybe there are some businesses that work that way. This is not one of them. And part of the thing that makes you very valuable to Premier Outdoor Living is you're willing to give unfiltered input and feedback to anything. And I definitely need that. And yesterday I felt like it was an eye-opening experience, because I was getting so pissed off, and I was telling you that. And also I was like, these are all really, she has no reason to believe in me right now, but she doesn't know the internal feeling of change that I have right now. She doesn't know that this is a new Sean that can handle it. So I can't fault you for that. You haven't gotten to meet the new Sean that I know is there and just ready to blossom. So at the end of the day, I think that I can do it. And I think I do need to be more judicious with my time. And
did you just learn the word judicious or something? You've been saying it. Like,
I have been saying. I think I used it like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "It's a great word," and it makes me sound smart. So this is all.
I like it.
These are all things that you'll get used to with the new Sean. He's a really great guy.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Thank you so much. Anyway, I just need to be better with my time management. I didn't use it there. How about that? And it's a thing that I feel like I miss. I miss like making clips. It's fun. I like that part of it, so I want to feel like I don't want to just be a manager. I don't want to just outsource everything. That was like the whole point of building this business around the things that I like to do. It was like, how can I incorporate all these fun things that I like to do and make it my job? That was like the precipice of everything about Premier Outdoor Living, and making video clips is one of those things. I just think it's fun. It's satisfying. You get to be creative, and then you have this little thing that you're like, hey, check this out. Watch this. Mm-hmm. And so I want to do more of that, and I just need to be more judicious with my time, and I can handle it. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah. So moving forward, I'm going to be doing all the clips. Mm-hmm. And scheduling all the clips, because you made it very clear about 500 times yesterday. Well, making the clips isn't really that much of a help. It's also scheduling the clips. So I'm going to handle that as well. And I'm looking forward to it. And I'm not just jumping into this with no forethought. I've done some research on time management. So that's what I'd like to get into right now.
Perfect timing. Great
so
segue.
Between yesterday and today, I have done years worth of research on time management. And I've boiled it down to just a few things that I think I need to incorporate into my life to make this happen. So I'll go over those. And this is going to be a short segment, and it will be ongoing. This will be, and now it's out there. I need to make sure I keep up on this. And the new show.
People are going to hold you accountable. So.
Oh God, they are. I know one person that's going to keep me accountable. That will be you. I'll never hear the end of it. Yeah. I should have never told you that was such an important skill set for you to have in this company. Should have never given you that feeling of power. Anyway,
I need to plug my laptop in. So you give your soliloquy. Keep going.
I'm not sure if that's the correct theatrical term, but I will nevertheless. I feel like it's more of a monologue, but anyway, I digress. So the two things that it comes down to, I think that it's going to revolutionize my time management are weekly block scheduling. So what that means is, what is it?
I just said block scheduling like 2 weeks ago when we were talking about
No. This is different. Okay. This is different. Right, this is weekly block scheduling.
Oh, okay.
I need to not necessarily, from 10 to 11:30, I'm going to work on this exact specific task. It's more, on Mondays, I'm going to do this. On Tuesdays, I'm going to do this. And I can plan that out, on a weekly ongoing basis. Like Monday can be my day to get all of the clips edited and get them uploaded. And if it has to be going into the night that I do that, like if I get the clips done at work and then it takes me an hour or two Monday night to schedule them, that's fine. I can do that. Again, it's especially once it gets to scheduling, it's more waiting for the video to upload. Like I can just sit there on my computer, watch TV, and get that done. And it's kind of fun. I don't mind doing it whatsoever. So that can be like my Monday big objective is make sure I get all the clips edited. And then by Monday night, they are all scheduled for the week. So every Monday, I know that by the end of the night, that has to be done.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Sure. I mean, it depends how personal, but yeah, go ahead.
Do you enjoy that like working from home thing?
Yes.
I feel like you when you started this company, that was you were like editing at home after work, and you always talked about that and blah blah, and that's now you have different responsibilities, so you can't really do it. But now it seems like you're really trying to go back to that working from home thing. Do you miss that a little bit, or like what's the thought process there? Because I feel like I'm trying to do the opposite. I'm trying to like make sure that I have everything scheduled and done before I get home, so then I can kind of unplug a little bit. But you feel like it seems like you're trying to go back the other way.
Oh, I just feel like that's how you mess up the plug, by unplugging it, plugging it back in. I need to stay plugged in at all times, 24/7. No, I just think most of the things that I do for work are things that I really like. They're enjoyable things. I don't like to do like clerical stuff or paperwork stuff or like those like, bullet point tasks. Like this week or last week, I had to renew a couple DMV registrations, do a couple bills and all that. I hate doing that stuff at home, but like making clips and editing, I like doing that. I like doing designs at home. I'll just put on like The Office on TV. It's really hard to do that now because, I used to do that like on rain days, but now Max is here. So like, I can't really like be by myself in my own little area. So, I do like, I like working at home. I think I just like working. I like my mind being focused on my goals and objectives, I guess, at all times. I don't know. When I say it out loud, it doesn't sound like a healthy way to live, but it feels fine because I've incorporated all these things that I like to do into work, Yeah.
So, no, I totally get that. And I get why, like you enjoyed making the clips this week because it's not something you get to do all the time. My only concern is the the actual longevity of that thing working. Because it's like fun in the moment, but then if it like scheduling clips is eventually going to feel like one of those clerical tasks that you have to do. Right now it's fun and exciting, but eventually it's going to get to that. So once it feels like that,
yeah,
are you still going to have that gusto of being like, oh, I'm hustling, I'm working from home, I'm getting it done after hours? Like, it was just, a question.
It sounds like one of those leading questions like a therapist would ask. Like, oh, no, just random question. Just no, nothing behind that. No, I think that like having this weekly objective, I'll say weekly objective scheduling. Mm-hmm. So it's just knowing that there's certain things every week that need to be done. Like with this, it'll be the end of the night, Monday. Everything should be edited and uploaded and scheduled. Like that's just, I can take that mental like scheduling part out of my head and just know every week this is when it needs to be done. We have every week trying to nail down an exact time that we do the podcast. That's another thing that like we know needs to be done by at the latest is Friday morning typically. But I think we're even gonna tighten that up a little bit. And just other things like that with filming for the week. So, picking what days I'm going to be completely out there on the tools and scheduling that in some of these, kind of flexible time blocks and knowing, okay, these are like the big important things that I need to do for the week and figure out where those go. And most of them will be in the same spot every week, like the podcast editing. But things like, okay, this day is going to be like a full day of filming for the YouTube video. So I'm going to be out there working all day on the job site. Like those things can be somewhat movable depending on what's going on the job site. But having that like big objective time block scheduling for the week, I think is going to be revolutionary for me. And it's going to change my world and hence change the worlds around me, including yours. So get ready. That's going to be exciting.
I'm excited. Can't wait to see.
Here is my next thing that I think is going to be revolutionary for me in my new endeavors to prove you wrong. I mean, grow this podcast. Is separating my creative tasks and my logical tasks. I heard about that today, and I never really thought about it. But when I do all of like a creative task like jumbled together, like doing all the podcast editing all at the same time, is really not that hard. Like you get in a flow where it's just like, okay, you can tackle it, go through it really quickly, and you're not like bouncing around. And the thing, like when I get pulled away from something to something else, going back to it is the hard part, especially when it's, creating a clip or working on design and then going to pay bills and send emails and then try and go back and forth. That's something that I've always done a lot of. It's, my ADHD coming out, like that's a manifestation of it. It's just bouncing around to different tasks. But it really like opened my eyes and made me realize that there is like a different state of mind that you're in when you're doing a creative task versus a logical task. And it just really, really resonated with me. Like when I'm in design focus and I have like say 2 complete designs to do in a day, and I just sit down and do those, like I'm in design mode and I get in a flow and I can just knock them out and do a really good job with it. When it's like a small edit that needs to be made and I'm trying to squeeze that in amongst a bunch of other like more logical, straightforward to-do list type tasks, that's when I have a really big problem, like just jumping in and getting in that mode to do something creative that's a very small part of my day, and it's jammed in between a bunch of other like logical tasks. Does that make sense? Does it resonate with you? Because it felt like it rocked my world to my core.
I could see how that, like, I think that our brains work very differently, so I don't think that necessarily would work for me, but I do think that I could see why that would work for you. Like, you do get in that flow state, or like when you're doing a design and you pop your headphones in, you can sit there and concentrate on it for like a very long time. So I could see how that would work.
It's the nicest thing you've ever said. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll just kind of close it up there. I don't want to go too much into time management because I'm obviously not an expert yet, but I'm on my way there. I'm definitely on my way there. And I think what we are getting to be experts in is communication.
I think so as well.
I really do. I think that we communicate really well. I think that when we have an issue, we bring it up pretty quickly, and we definitely have a unique style about it, but it works, and I think nobody's really offended at the end of it. And most of the time, that aggressive nature is kind of comical in nature a bit. So it's like, yeah, when you yell at me and you're like, shut up, you little bitch. Like, I know that you're just joking, and it kind of almost lightens the mood when we're fighting about something. And, most of the time I feel like you're making better points, but you don't know the new me.
You don't know. You don't know.
I'm always reinventing myself, and you just haven't gotten to know that part of me yet. Right. So I see why you would doubt me, but this new Sean, he's on his stuff, so watch out.
Can't wait to meet him.
Yeah, he's great. All right, well, moving on from that, everybody communicate with the people around you. The worst thing that you can do is not communicate. Doesn't matter how you communicate, but the most important thing is that you just do communicate on a consistent basis, and that's it.
Yeah. And I want people to respond to us or DM us or something and tell us about their communication styles, because I do feel like we might have a bit of a unique communication style, but it works for Premier Outdoor Living. And not just you and I, as a whole, I think that it's, I think that we all have a pretty good communication style. But I want to know what other people have.
Is it more corporate?
Yeah, maybe is it very professional? Is it or do you joke? I assume that if it's on a construction site, there's some, levity and probably a little bit like ours. But I'm just curious how other people kind of handle themselves on their job sites. So
yeah. I would definitely be. I would definitely be interested in that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for that. So let's keep it moving. Let's get right on to our next topic of conversation here, which is going to be what? What is it?
Construction news.
Oh, nice.
I was playing the little intro. Could you not hear it?
No, I could hear it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just didn't know if. We're still working out the kinks of who's going to, should I say it's coming live from
Oh, yeah. I really do need to work on my, newscaster voice.
Yeah.
Okay, so, as the people may or may not have heard, in a couple months, we're going to have a new president, and it's all anybody can talk about. And I don't want to get political, because I feel like this is a fun podcast, and I think we're all politicked out. We've gotten over that hump of the election, and now things are a bit quieter.
I'm ticked off is what I am.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
But when it comes to construction, there are, when there's a new president, everything's impacted, so I'm not trying to downplay anything else. But construction is definitely one of the industries that is most directly impacted for a lot of different reasons. So all I keep hearing about is these tariffs. And I was like, let's dive into this. What is this actually going to mean for construction? Because tariffs, everyone thinks it's like taxes, and it's not. It's a little bit confusing, and there's a lot to it. So I figured we could just break it down and kind of talk about it and kind of just kind of riff on it. So
yeah.
And another thing is, everyone's talking about tariffs, but there has not really been a formal policy that has been brought forth. It is just kind of speculative. But in this new administration...
there's concepts of a policy.
There's concepts of a policy. But in this new administration, we have the unique opportunity to be able to look back to what they did in their previous term, which is not something that's happened before. So in Trump's first term, he did impose stricter tariffs, which resulted in construction materials costs rising. And I'm also going to try to really use neutral language. So I'm trying to just be newscaster about this.
We're not getting political.
I'm not getting political. I'm just stating the facts.
And we're just trying to learn as well. We're just trying to, we're going to
Correct.
experience what's going to be happening in the world of construction. I'm not an economist. I don't know
Yes.
how this is going to affect
Absolutely not
everybody totally.
So in this first term, he imposed these tariffs, and it did result in construction material cost rising a significant amount. And a lot of those tariffs are still in place today. So he has stated he's going to put 60% tariffs on Chinese goods when he goes into office, which sounds like a lot, and it is, and it would really change a lot about how things are done between the United States and China. But there are still tariffs in place that were there the first go around. So it's going to be another huge increase, but it's not like we're going from zero. We're going from, we're
What
in
is
the
it at
mix
now?
already.
Do you know where it's at right now?
I couldn't find the exact figures because he put the tariffs on, and then the Biden administration kept some and changed some. So it was like it's
a little convoluted.
It's convoluted
by now. Yeah. Okay.
And even when he says like 60%, like it's much more complicated than just doing like a blanket.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be 60%. And just in case you don't know what tariffs are when we pay, like the America, like when we import things, the importer pays the cost, so then it gets passed on to the consumer. It's not China paying this 60% increase.
It's not
American consumer. So that's why it's different than taxes. However, when you do tariffs are not good or bad inherently on their own. They are just a tool of the economy. So by making this massive increase on China, they are in turn probably going to do the exact same thing for us, which is what happened in 2018 when he did the tariffs the first time. And our export to China, just as an example, I picked this one because this is what I saw, is soybeans. That's like a huge import to China from the United States. And it cost the economy about $28 billion in having to pay soybean farmers because they weren't exporting as much because China wasn't importing because they didn't want to pay the tariffs. So in theory, these tariffs will bring industry back to the United States, but it's much more complicated than that. And these things, in order to work, would have to take a really long time. So there's a lot it's a very complicated, convoluted thing rather than just some straightforward, okay, we're going to put a 60% tariff on and everything's going to come back to the United States. So with that being said, and with the knowledge that construction material costs are probably going to rise a pretty significant amount in this new administration, Sean, I wanted to ask you, as a business owner, what are you going to do to mitigate your risk in that? What are you planning on doing? We already have estimates out until like the beginning of fall, end of summer, beginning of fall.
Yep.
So going forward, like, do you think that you are going to write it in the contract that these costs might change? Are you going to try to estimate? Like, what do you think as a business owner you can do to kind of prepare for that?
I guess we'll start imposing our own tariffs
on our consumers.
Yeah, I mean, no one really understands totally what I thought I sort of did, but now I realize I don't know at all what tariffs are. So, you just pass along the tariffs and they don't know what it is. We don't know what they are, but, everyone's making money and it's great. Yeah, I thought that it was they're paying us or something to send it over, but okay. All right. Well, I thought we were just going to kind of be sitting back as a country, just raking it in, watching all those imports come in and just cashing checks, but I suppose not. Honestly, so what I think that we were in a really unique situation with the last go round of this because the huge price increases didn't really start until COVID hit. And that was like when the significant crazy surges in pricing came from
those are completely separate things. Okay.
Yeah. So that was, from labor shortage at plants and factories and the
shipping
congestion, the ports, everything stuck to the ports.
The ports. Yeah,
the ports. I can't wait to start blaming the ports again. That was such a good cop out for everything. But that was the thing that was like, oh my God, this is like seriously impacting our business because
Hmm.
I think we're a little bit lucky in the fact that our material cost is, it's still a significant cost, but it's a smaller percentage of the overall job cost. We have so much labor in the job. That's where we see the biggest fluctuation is on our time estimation of how long something's going to cost. The amount that something would go up in like a short period, well, not even a short period, but the period of a couple months just based on tariffs and things like that, I don't think that that's going to be large enough for us to make a drastic change like putting in this new language. Because number one, I think one of the main things I have always tried to do as a business is, once we give somebody a price and we sign a contract, like that's the price. We agreed on this and that's what it is. And we can, if prices go up a little bit, they go up a little bit and we have to eat a little bit of that cost. But we still have so much of the job cost being labor that it doesn't affect our profit margins that much. And, not like this happens a whole lot, but then are you going to give them a discount if prices go down a little bit? So for us, I don't think it's going to be something that, we initiate any big changes over. But, this might be, if it happens again where, during, I guess, 2020, like there was like sheets of OSB were like $60. That was like when it was like, this is hurting the business significantly. At that time, I had it in my head, I'm just glad that we're working. I'm glad that I don't own a restaurant right now or something that has to close down. So I was thankful in a lot of ways. But if that was to happen again to that extent, it would be really bad. And then we would definitely have to be like, okay, this was not a singular thing that only happened one time ever. Like we need to incorporate this new language in our contracts to either get out of a contract if we need to, if prices have skyrocketed so much or whatever that may be. But as of right now, not planning on any major changes, but I'll definitely be checking in on my favorite construction news channel, which is this, for updates. So
Yeah.
do you think that we should? What do you think?
I mean, I don't think that it hurts to have that language in there. But I do agree, just like from an ethics standpoint, like if we reserve the right to like increase the material cost, then we have to be very honest about it if it goes down as well. Not that we wouldn't, but like I feel like when you put that in your contract and a customer sees that, they're just gonna be like, oh, okay, like they're gonna just price gouge me, like,
Yeah. Yeah. And how are you tracking it? Like, are you giving them an itemized material quote? Like when you sign the contract, that's when it gets like real murky and kind of, or is it just, hey, we're basing it off of the commodity price of what lumber's trading for right now? But that's not like a direct correlation to like what our material cost is necessarily going to be. So I just feel like there's just not really a great way to do it that feels like everyone is going to feel really confident and happy and like comfortable with the process if that's in there from the very beginning. Because like you said, there's of course hey, Mrs. Jones, well, I'm sure you've seen the news, prices have gone up, it's going to be an extra 10 grand, and I don't want to be that type of person. And if prices do start going up when we sell more jobs, then we'll have to keep that in mind and raise the prices. So
it is interesting to think about though, like where, like we're so in our industry, we are completely dependent on the products that we use, whether it be because we need things to build them, we need the products to perform well, so then we're not getting called out on warranty calls. Like we are so reliant on these products and these brands that we use and stand by. But like a lot of the times people have no idea where these things come from. So like in my mind, I was like, oh, we're totally fine because we use ProWood, which is pine, which is from the United States. So we're good there. But then I was like, but what about the chemicals, the like pressure treating material? Like, I don't know where those come from. I don't know. Maybe that comes from China. I don't know. And then we use decorators. Like, okay,
China.
they don't manufacture in China, I don't think. But
No.
the products that go into those deck boards, something along the line probably does.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of interesting to think of, like, to actually take inventory and stock of like what you actually use and think about like, oh, where does this come from? Maybe this will change a little bit. Like, what if,
Yeah.
just an interesting thought, to have.
It definitely is. And
forward.
there's so much that, like you were just saying, that does affect that end product that you think about. Like, we're buying this deck board, and I know that they make the deck boards in Selma, Alabama. So, they're from America. But like you said, the raw materials, where are they coming from? I don't know. They're probably globally, everything's assembled wherever with materials globally sourced or whatever. So
yeah,
it is such a global economy. I don't know if things are coming. I'm sure there's things coming from other countries in raw materials, or even like machinery that they use in the plant, or there could be a million things that affect that deck board getting from Alabama to our job site. And, you don't really consider it too much, but I don't have much control over it, and I'm going to try not to worry about it. And you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. And I'm just going to continue on and do my best. And, even when things get bad, I feel like I have a good ability to be grateful for what I do have. Like during COVID, I was like, you know what? I could really be bummed right now that I'm paying it was like $66 for a sheet of 1/2-inch OSB, which literally 6 months before that was like $12. It was insane.
Yeah, that is really
But
crazy.
I was just like, you know what? This sucks, but hey, I got a job. I'm able to work. I'm not dead. What else can you ask for?
It's a great perspective to have.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to continue with that perspective, and hopefully everything works out. I don't know. I'm not an economist, and
neither
hopefully...
am I. But it is interesting to think about, and I like to be prepared. So I keep seeing it, and it made me think about it. So I thought I'd bring the information to the people.
And we will keep our eye on it for sure.
Yeah.
We are your source for breaking construction news. So, yeah.
And also, just to say again, there isn't really a policy in place, and politicians they're always saying stuff. So who knows what's going to happen?
Well, there is concepts of a policy in place. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And hopefully it is the most prosperous time for every single person in the entire world. I hope
the whole world.
I hope everybody just has a great time. I hope everybody worldwide just has a good time, and we can all get along.
That would be so nice, wouldn't it?
We should have like a big block party.
I was just talking about how no one has block parties anymore the other day. Was I
Really?
talking to you about that?
I don't think so, but yeah, we should have like a global block party. That'd be great.
It's a great idea.
A lot of food we would need, but maybe
potluck.
Potluck,
yeah, gotta be potluck.
Yeah. Yeah, block parties. Oh my god! And you live on the street that I grew up on, and that was like we had a block party every year. It was amazing.
Yeah, and I remember your now my block's party because it was so big. It would be the whole street, and then everyone would invite people. Like, I remember coming to this block party.
Who invited you?
I don't remember, but I remember being there.
Surprised they let you in because it's supposed to be locals only. But anyway, all right. Well, that's what we got there. And do we want to move on? Do you have any closing statements on this?
No, nothing revolutionary. But I would be interested to hear because it's just it's different and it's unknown and people. You're reactive to things and there's just a lot of unknowns in the economy right now. Anyway, but I would just be curious to know if people are preparing in some sort of way. And if you are preparing in some sort of way, let us know and we'll share it to the people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll just kind of wait and see. I don't know if this is going to be good or bad for the country. Like I said, I'm not an economist. I don't know. On the grand scheme of things, I don't know anything about the global economy and how it works. But I do know that a lot of people just get their information from like short little blurbs on memes. And I just think everything's a lot more complicated than people think. And that if this was just like the end all be all, I'm sure we would have been doing it already. maybe there's parts of it that are going to be really great, and but I don't think that any of this is going to be simple and straightforward at all. But I'm hoping for the best, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got to say about that.
All right. Do you remember what's next?
I'm trying to think. Is this a trivia question? Because I'm going to get it right. It's our working happy hour trivia. I'm having a good time with this trivia. It's my favorite part of the week.
It's good. It's a good part of the week.
I get to learn. I get to learn stuff. I get to scratch that little curiosity itch that I have about something that popped up over the course of the week, and then I get to research it and come up with a question, and then also I get to try my luck at some questions that you come up with. So it's my favorite part. And you won last week, so why don't I start by asking you?
Okay.
All right. So true or false? I was thinking about people in the trades. I feel like we were talking about this. Maybe I was talking to somebody at Deck Expo about it potentially. I forget. But we're talking about the age of people in the construction industry. And here's the question. True or false? The average U.S. construction worker is over 45 years old.
True. I think it's
false.
I thought it was like 54.
No, it's 42.
Oh.
Which I was really surprised by. So 42 years old is the average age of the U.S. construction worker, and that is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. But it will be more than 46 by 2030 if current trends continue. The thing that I found really interesting is there is so much talk about the average construction worker aging out and not enough people to fill the spots that are leaving, but it's only 1 year older than the average American worker. So I found that really interesting.
We're going to be okay.
I think we might be okay, but that also doesn't speak to the growing industry or the demand for more workers. That's just the average age was lower than I thought that it was. So you got it wrong.
Dang it. All right.
Okay. You suck.
I know. God.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay. True or false?
Yes.
A bridle joint and a mortise and tenon joint are the same thing.
Oh, wow. A bridle joint and a mortise and tenon. True.
False. They're different.
I should have figured that. They have a different name. I've never heard of a bridle joint.
Me neither.
I was like, what? What is this? What is it?
It's like a mortise and tenon joint, except it goes all the way through.
Okay. Oh.
It was very confusing to me. I was trying to get a joinery question, and then the whole bridal thing, and I had never heard of it, so I went with it. But you got it wrong.
Seems like a place to hang out when you're getting married. You check out this new bridal joint?
Oh.
What?
A bridal's like a horse thing.
Like a bridal party.
Spelled differently.
Oh, okay. All right, well, shows how much I know. All right. You ready for your next question?
Yes.
Round 2, the multiple choice round of this. All right. We were talking about last year, the question that, or no, not last year. Last week, you asked me the question of how often do they update the building code?
Yeah.
And every time that we talk about building code, we talk about how many damn metal connectors you need every year. They're adding more metal every year to every
almost like Simpsons got a stake in this.
Exactly. So it got me thinking, what is the annual revenue of Simpson Strong Tie?
God, $400 billion?
Yeah, well, it's multiple choice, so let me give you the options. Okay. 2.2 billion, 7.9 billion, 16.8 billion, or 23.4 billion.
Huh. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go 16 billion.
Wrong.
Dang it.
2.2 billion.
Oh, okay.
I was shocked by that. I thought it was going to be a lot higher.
Yeah, me too.
But they're working on it.
They'll get there.
They'll definitely get there. Because every time they add a new connector that you need, it's like the most expensive connector ever. Like you used to need, okay, you got to put hurricane ties on everything. They're like 52 cents a piece. But now you need these lateral tension ties, and it's like for 4 of them for a deck, it's like $70. And it's like, what do these do? I get it, but sort of don't, because it doesn't seem super necessary. But anyway, all right. You're not doing too good, and I'm doing not well either. So let's go.
Well, you only answered one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You know when you're in Home Depot and you're buying bags of concrete sometimes.
All the time. Yep.
There's the regular kind, and then there's high strength.
Mm-hmm.
What is added to that to make it high strength? This is but multiple choice. Relax.
Oh, okay. All right.
A, fly ash. B, retarders. C, superplasticizers. D, pozzolanic admixtures. I have no idea if I'm saying that right.
I feel like fly ash is like a substitute for certain ingredients, and too much fly ash is actually not good, I've heard. Second one is what's the second one?
Retarders.
You're not supposed to say that.
It's a technical word.
You know what? That actually might be because when concrete cures too quickly, it doesn't gain as much strength. So that's a maybe there. C was superplasticizers.
Yeah.
No, I think that's more of a like in a modified thin set. Keeps it flexible. I don't think that would be. Those are not in bagged concrete. I don't think. It's a very expensive mix. And then the last one was something that you couldn't pronounce and I never heard of. What was it?
Pozzolanic admixtures.
Pozzolanic admixtures. I'm gonna go with pozzolanic admixtures.
False.
Is it retarders?
No, it's fly ash.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
I heard that that's not good. Oh, shows how much I know. All right.
I mean, too much of anything is never a good thing. So
That's
too
true.
much is probably not good, but the right amount makes it a
Is
little
just
stronger,
right.
I guess.
Okay. What is fly ash? Do you know?
Don't know. I always wondered, though, these bags of concrete's like, is it really stronger, or is it just saying that? Like, what's...
True.
Doesn't really seem like it would be, but apparently.
Okay, so fly ash is a fine powder that's a byproduct of coal-fired power plants. Okay. Huh.
That's where they get their power plants from. Okay. Next.
Oh, wow. Concrete. Fly ash is a supplementary cementitious material that can replace some of the Portland cement in concrete. It improves the concrete strength, durability, and workability. Wow. Okay.
There you go.
You're kind of supposed to be doing this research to teach us the things on the right answer, so kind of doing your job, but
apologies, you just
I have managed to find the time, so it's not a big deal.
For the record, you told me that we were going to record this podcast like 5 minutes before we did, so I didn't have the time.
Told you like 2 hours ago. Point taken. All right, moving on. All right, 0-0. Not a great showing by either of us. So it leads me to my last question. Because we're talking about tariffs, we're talking about imports and exports so much, and the construction industry. What country does the majority of lumber come from that is used in the U.S.? Does that make sense? Do you get that?
Where does the lumber in the United States come from?
The lumber that's used in the United States, what country is that coming from? The majority of it.
The United States.
What are you, some sort of genius? That was like such a good trick question. Yes, it's coming from the United States. All right, well, I thought I was really going to get you with that one. Yes, most of the lumber used in the U.S. comes from the United States, with the most plentiful producer being Oregon. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
All right. Good job there. Proud of you.
I wrote down 2 open-ended questions, and I'm gonna.
All right. Well, then I get to try it on both, and if I get one right.
All right. Because I want you to succeed, I'm gonna give you the easier one.
Perfect.
You've heard of galvanized steel, correct?
Yes.
What is the element that is added to the steel coating to make it galvanized?
Zinc.
Yay, you got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. What was the other one? Can you ask me that just so I can really feel like go out on a high note? I know you probably want to save it for next week, but we don't have time for that.
Well, I feel like it's similar because you asked me an annual revenue question, and I was looking at Milwaukee Tools before this, and I was thinking, oh, what's their annual revenue? It's not publicly disclosed. However, they are owned by Tektronic Industry Group.
I know, and guess what else they own?
Ryobi
Hoover.
and Hoover.
I
Correct.
actually just looked that up too today.
Do you remember what the internet says their annual revenue is for the TTI Group in 2023?
No, but I was looking up what power tool company has the highest revenue, and
what's that?
Is Makita.
Interesting. Is that because Makita's owned by just Makita?
I don't know. I didn't do a deep dive into it because it sort of got convoluted. But what is Tektronic's revenue? Do you want me to guess? I'll guess.
Guess. Bonus question.
I'll say $12 billion.
So close. $13.7 billion. Really good job.
All right. Well, I get the win there.
You win this round. Yeah, I'll give that.
Yay.
That actually was really good.
Yeah. Well, and it was 1-0. Or no, it was 1-1.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're tied. All right.
No, I give you the win. You got the bonus question.
But you went ahead by 1. So last week. So now we're tied again.
Oh, right. Okay.
In our grand standings. What is it, like 6-6?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6-6.
All right. Well, that's it for this week. I hope everybody had as much fun as we did. And if you didn't, we'll come to your place of work and we'll yell at you, and you'll see how fun it is. So,
do you think everyone's like, "Wow, these people seem miserable to work with"?
I don't know. I just, I just can't. Maybe it's just I cannot imagine working in like a normal workplace. I'm just not like a normal person that like can operate under the norms of society. Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't respond well to that. So,
yeah.
It works for us, and I think it's great. And as long as you're communicating and there's a sense of respect, no matter what you say, as long as it's, you know that there's an underlying amount of respect there underneath the words, whatever they are, then that's great. And communication is key to any team, And the best thing that you can do is just say something. When something's on your mind, say it and get it out in the open and get everybody on the same page. And, you're either going to hash it out and prove your point and get your side across, or, if you just keep saying stuff every time and communicating, you're going to realize that, oh my God, this is like the 10th time I've said this. And now I see where they're coming from, because they're probably feeling like deja vu. Oh, he's at it again. He's on some sort of bipolar high and he thinks he can do everything. So that's the key to everything in this world is good, consistent communication. So be good to yourself and be good to one another. What is that? Isn't that Dr. Phil or something?
Something like that.
Somebody says that.
Somebody says that.
Anyway, if you could, we are putting a lot of work into this. I mean, you've just heard all of the things that I am trying to fit into my schedule to make this podcast even better. So if you could, whatever you're listening to this on right now, give us a review on there and make sure to hit subscribe, because that really does help promote it and get the word out to other people.
Yeah.
So,
and follow us on all our socials so you can see all the hard work that Sean is putting into our new clips.
Yeah. And if you're really a doll, just say, "Great job, Sean," on there. Means the world.
He really appreciates it.
I do. Like a dog, I need positive reinforcement at all times. Anyway, that's it for this week. So hopefully everyone has an amazing week. And this will also be the last one before Thanksgiving. The next one that gets released will be after Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I know what I have to be thankful for. Contemplate about what you have to be thankful for, because I'm sure it's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Amen. Let's eat. Okay. Or till next time, this has been the Hardworking Happy Hour.
See you next week.